Okay, sir. So let's start with the first column in root locus. So the g of s, h of s of a given closed loop system is been given. So this is what we require to start with the problem. So we need to consider the g of s into h of s. So this is the given problem. So what we have to do? We need to find out we need to draw the root locus. Approximate root locus we need to draw. Okay? And we need to comment on the stability, whether system is stable or not. Okay. So we have 9 steps are there to draw the root locus, right? The first step is to, what is the first step? To get the general information. What are the general information? Means number of poles, number of zeros, how many roots are there, number of branches and all. So this is the step number 1. So the roots which is in the numerator, so this we are going to call as zeros. Okay, the roots which is in the denominator is called as poles. So for any system, for whether it is stable or unstable, it all depends upon the denominator. That is the characteristic equation. The main is poles. So depending upon the poles, we can say whether the system is stable or not. Okay. So rather than zeros, the more importance will be the poles. Okay, because that is the one that is going to say the system is stable or not. So from this g of s into h of s, so we need to know how many number of poles are there. How many number of poles are there? So s term is 1, another s term, another s term. How many poles are there? There are 3 poles are there. What are the roots of these poles? S is equal to 0, comma minus 5, comma minus 10. So these are the roots of this poles. Next, number of zeros, z. How many terms, s terms are there in the numerator? 0. There are no terms are there. Therefore, number of zeros is equal to how much? Zeros. Is it clear? So number of poles is equal to 3. The roots of the poles is s is equal to 0, minus 5, minus 10. And number of zeros, there is no s terms in the numerator, therefore number of zeros is equal to zeros. What are the roots? There are no roots at all. And we need to find out the number of branches. Okay? So number of branches. How to find out the number of branches? We need to know P and Z. You need to compare P and Z. Okay? So here P is greater than Z. So therefore number of branches is equal to number of poles. That is equal to how much? 3. Is it clear? So number of poles is greater than number of zeros. Therefore, number of branches is equal to P, that is equal to 3. So, how many branches are there? There are 3 branches are there. So, always the roots of the poles, so these are the starting points. Starting point. So, always branches are going to start from the poles. Till in the start are there, it is going to start from the poles. And it is going to end to zeros. So it is going to start from the poles and it is going to end to the 0. So here we have starting point 0, minus 5 and minus 10 are the starting point of the branches. So where it is going to end? There is no end points. So therefore it is going to end at infinity, infinity, infinity. Got it? So number of branches is equal to 3. So always the branches are going to start from the poles and is going to end to the 0. But in this case we have 3 poles, but we don't have zeros. So therefore the branches are going to start from here and it is going to end to the infinity. Okay, so this is the step number 1. So we need to identify number of poles, number of zeros, starting point of the number of branches, then starting point of the branches and ending point of the branches. So this is the step number 1. Now, what is the next number? Step number, this is step number 1. Next step number 2. So we are going to draw the pole zero plot and predict for the branches, existence of the branches. How to do it? So we are going to draw the pole zero plot. So x-axis is the real axis, z-axis is the imaginary axis. What are the roots we have? S is equal to 0. That is the first root. Correct? Next, S is equal to minus 5. Approximately somewhere here I am going to put this is the S is equal to minus 5. In the same way, S is equal to minus 10. So we need to predict whether the root locus is existing or not between the poles or between the roots. How to do it? So we are going to draw the pole zero plot. So this we are going to call as what? Pole zero plot. So this is a pole zero plot. So the number of poles we have 0, minus 5 and minus 10, and we don't have any zeros. So that's why it is a pole zero plot. So the roots are there on the axis, right? So now first I am going to consider two roots. S is equal to 0 and S is equal to minus 5. I am going to draw an imaginary line between these two roots. I am going to draw an imaginary line. So this is an imaginary line between the two roots. How many roots are there to the right side of the right side? 0. How many roots are there to the right side? So there is one root, that is S is equal to 0. Right? So whether number 1 is an odd number or an even number? Odd number. So therefore whenever we find odd number of roots to the right side, so then we can say there is a root locus between the S is equal to 0 and S is equal to minus 5. So root locus is there. There is possibility of root locus between S is equal to 0 and S is equal to minus 1. Okay. So now I am going to consider another two roots. This one and this one. I am going to draw an imaginary line. How many roots are there to the right side of this imaginary axis? Two roots. That means even number. So therefore root locus is not possible between minus 5 and minus 10. So no root locus. You got it? So first I consider two roots, that is S is equal to 0 and S is equal to minus 5. I have drawn an imaginary line. So then I checked how many roots are there to the right side of the imaginary line. So in the first case, I got only one root, so it's an odd number. So therefore, root locus is possible between minus 5 and 0. Next, I considered two roots, minus 5 and minus 10. I had drawn an imaginary line. How many roots are there to the right side? Two roots, that is minus 5 and 0. Two roots are there, it's an even number. So if you find even number, there is no root locus possible between minus 10 and minus 5. Is it clear? Yes, so this is how we are going to do the predictions, whether the root locus is possible between the two roots or not. Is it clear? So this is the step number 1 and step number 2. What is the step number 3? Step number 3. So we need to find out the angle of asymptotes. Is it right? Yes, correct, Alva? So we need to find out the angle of asymptotes. What is the formula to find out the angle of asymptote? Theta is equal to 2q plus 1 into 180 divided by T minus Z. Correct? So how to find out the number of asymptotes? To find out number of asymptotes. So P minus Z. So that means we are having how many asymptotes? 3 asymptotes. So the number of poles is 3 and zeros is 0. So number of asymptotes that we have is how much? 3 asymptotes. Now, then we need to find out. So Q is going to vary from what? 0, 1. So P minus Z minus 1. What is the meaning of that? 2. So Q is going to vary from 0, 1 and 2. So number of asymptotes is equal to 3. So q value is going to vary from 0 to 2. That is p minus z minus 1. Is it clear? So therefore, what is the value of theta when q is equal to 0? You have to tell me. What is the value of theta when q is equal to 1? You have to tell me. Then what is the value of theta when q is equal to 2? So we are going to substitute the value of q. 0 times 0 once, next 1 times 1 and 2 also. Is it clear? So can now you tell me what is the value of theta is equal to 0? Theta 0, when q is equal to 0, theta 0 is equal to 60. Next theta 1, 180. Next theta 2, 300. Is it right? Okay. So this is the step number 3 to find out the number of asymptotes and angle of asymptotes. Is it clear? Yes, please take it. Okay, step number 4. What is step number 4? To determine the centroid. What is the formula to determine the centroid? Summation of real part of poles minus summation of real part of zeros divided by p minus z. Correct? So what are the real part of pole summation? That is, we have poles 0, minus 5 and minus 10. So summation 0, minus 5, minus 10. Correct? Minus summation of real part of zeros. How many zeros we have? We don't have any zeros, therefore it will be 0. Divided by p minus z. What is the p? Number of poles, that is 3. Minus z, number of zeros, that is minus 0. So that means minus 15 divided by how much? Minus 3. So this is equal to how much? Sorry, 3. Minus 15 divided by 3. So that will be equal to how much? Minus 5. So what is the centroid? Minus 5. Is it clear? Okay. Next step number 5. What is step number 5? To find out the breakaway points or break-in points. So breakaway points. When we are going to get the breakaway points? See, when we have two roots. Okay, so these are the two poles. Okay, so when we have two poles. For example, I got s is equal to 0 and s is equal to minus 5. We predicted that root locus is possible. Correct? There is a root locus possible between 0 and minus 5. So these two are what? Poles. Okay? So these two are poles. So whenever we have poles, in between the two poles we will be having a breakaway points. Break away. In the same way, when we have zeros, we will be having a break in points. So we have poles, so therefore in between these two roots we are going to have a break away points. If we have zeros, so then we will be having a break in points. Okay, so now we need to find out the breakaway or break-in points. In this case, we will be having a breakaway points. How to find out the breakaway points? For that, we need to consider the characteristic equation. We need to take down the characteristic equation. What is the formula of characteristic equation? 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. Right, this is general formula. If they are not giving anything, we are going to consider this is a characteristic equation. 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0. What is g of s h of s? That is k divided by s plus 5 into s plus 10 is equal to what? 0. So this can be done as s square plus 5s into s plus 10 plus k is equal to 0. After simplification I am writing. Okay. Next, so this can be done as what? S cube plus 5s square plus 10s square plus 50s, right? Plus k is equal to 0. Is it right? So now if I simplify this one,
50s.
50 yes alva, correct? So this can be done as s cube plus how much? 15s square plus 50s plus k is equal to 0. Is it right? Right, sir. Continue, Mana. So we call. So now, what is the value of k? So k will be equal to how much? Minus s cube minus 15 square minus 50s. So this one I am going to consider as equation number 1. Now I am going to differentiate this equation with respect to s. dk by ds is equal to how much? Minus 3s square minus 30s minus 50 is equal to 0. Correct? So with the help of the calcium, can you find out the value of s? Please find out the value of s with the help of calcium. What is the value of s? And what is the value of s? We have seen the highest root is how much? 2, s to the power 2. Then we will be having the 2 roots. Right? Please let me know what is the value of s with the help of calcium. See, after differentiating this equation number 1 with respect to s, so we are going to arrive at this equation. With the help of calculus, you solve this equation and find out the values of s. So the s values after solving, we are going to get how much? Minus 7.88 as a one root, and the another root, that is s is equal to minus 2.11. So we need to substitute the values of s in the equation number 1 to validate whether this is a valid breakaway point or not. How to check? We are going to substitute these values in the equation number 1. So when I substitute the equation s is equal to minus 7.88 in the equation number 1, the k value what I am going to get is minus 48.8 or something. Okay, when I am going to substitute s is equal to minus 2.11 in the equation number 1, the value of k will be equal to something 48.11. So out of these two roots, for which value of s I am going to get positive k? When s is equal to minus 2.11, the value of k is positive. So this means, so this is we are going to consider as what? Valid. What is this? A valid breakaway point. So this is a valid breakaway point. When we are going to say that is a valid breakaway point, so the roots of the s we are going to substitute in the equation number 1. So in which root we are going to get the positive k? So when s is equal to minus 2.11, the value of k is equal to positive, that is a 48.11. So that is the valid breakaway point. So you may ask, so can we get two valid breakaway points? Yes, we can have two valid breakaway points. But in this problem, so we having only one valid breakaway point. That also holds good with the step number 2. There is a root locus between s is equal to 0 and s is equal to minus 5. That we already did predictions, right? Step number 2. Okay, so what is the value we are getting? K is equal to s is equal to minus 2.11. So it is the valid breakaway point. So this is what the step number 5. To find out the breakaway points and its validating. So we have completed the step number 5. Now step number 6. What is step number 6? To find out the intersection of root locus with the imaginary axis. We need to find out the intersection of root locus with the imaginary axis. For that, what we need a characteristic equation. We already found out the characteristic equation. This is the characteristic equation of a given system. So how to find out? We are going to apply the RH method. So what is the highest order? S to the power of 3. So therefore, how many rows of arrays we need to create? S to the power of 2, s to the power of 1, and s to the power of 0. So we need to create the 4 arrays, 4 rows of array. So what is the first term of coefficient of s to the power of 3? 1. So we are going to write the alternate. What is the s to the power of 1? How much is this? 50. Next will be 0. Correct? Yeah. Next, what is the coefficient of x to the power of 2? 15 k and 0. Now, how to find out the RH method? So next row, 15 into 15. How much? 750 minus k into 1. That is k divided by 50. Next row I need to write 15 into 0. 0 into minus 1. So this will be equal to 0. Next I need to write another row. So this into this, right? Divided by, minus 0 into 15 divided by this. So we will be left with what? K. Is it clear? So this is the RH method. So we already did in the previous unit, right? RH method. So now how to find out the value of K? See, for the system to be stable, the first element, first column of the array must be of same sign. Okay, so if this system has to be stable, so this must be a positive value, right? So therefore, I am going to equate 750 minus k divided by 15. So this must be greater than 0. Yes or no? For the system to be stable, k must be greater than 0, and also this value must be greater than 0. So therefore, to find out the k, I am going to equate this is equal to 0. 750 minus k divided by 15 is equal to 0. Therefore, what is the value of k? K will be equal to 750. Is it right? So the k is equal to 750. So after finding the value of k, so we need to, what is the main intention? We need to find out the intersection of root locus with the imaginary axis. So we need to get the auxiliary equation. We need to consider an auxiliary equation. We used to do it in the previous unit, right? So how to find out the auxiliary equation and all, right? So here, so the s square term. So this column or this row, we are going to consider as auxiliary equation. Okay, auxiliary equation. Can you tell me the auxiliary equation? So it will be 15 s square plus k is equal to 0. So this is the auxiliary equation. Okay. So what is the value of s when k is equal to 750? I am going to substitute k is equal to 750 is equal to 0. Okay. Therefore, s square is equal to how much? minus 750 divided by 50. So what is the value of this? Minus 50. So therefore S is equal to
0 plus 7
square root of minus 50. How much?
7.079.
Yes, how much?
7.079.
S is equal to 7.079. Okay, the root locus is going to intersect with the imaginary axis at S is equal to, so this is plus or minus, right? So plus or minus, that is S is equal to plus 7.07 and S is equal to minus 0.7. So this is where the root locus is going to cut the imaginary axis. So this is the step number how much? 6. Please take down. Okay, sir. So we have completed 1 to 6 steps. 6 steps are over. What is the 7th step? Find out the angle of departure and angle of arrival if applicable. Okay, if it is applicable, we need to find out the angle of departure and angle of arrival. So when we are going to find out the angle of departure and angle of arrival, so when we come across complex poles, so then we need to find out the angle of departure. When we have complex zeros, so then we need to find out the angle of arrival. So in this problem, we don't have any complex poles or complex zeros. So there is no need to do the step number 7. Is it clear? Next, what is the step number 8? Combine the 1 to 7 steps and draw the root locus. That is the step number 8. So to write the root locus, we need to have the data. We need to summarize what are the things we did. Okay. So what is step number 1? In the step number 1, what are the data we got? So we got number of poles and number of zeros. That is poles is equal to 3 and zeros is equal to 0. So how many branches? That is equal to 3. Just I am going to summarize. I am not going to explain you once again. So summarize. Number of branches is equal to 3. Starting points of the branches, that is equal to S is equal to 0, minus 5, minus 10. And ending point is equal to infinity, infinity, infinity. The branches are going to start from poles and it is going to end to the zeros. Since we don't have any zeros, all the branches are going to end to the infinity. This is the step number 1. And from the step number 2, what is the step number 2? We predicted, that is root locus is possible between root 0 and minus 5. Right? This is the step number 2. Summarize. Next step number 3. So we found out the asymptotes. How many asymptotes are there? 3 asymptotes are there. So therefore the first asymptote is theta 0 is equal to how much? 60 degree. Theta 1 is equal to 180 degree. Theta 2 is equal to 300 degree. So these are the angle of asymptotes. So this is from the step number 3. Next step number 4. Centroid. What is the centroid? How much is centroid? Centroid is equal to minus 5. Correct? Next, what is from the step number 5? We found out the breakaway point. Right? What is the valid breakaway point? 48.1. Right, centroid. Breakaway point is equal to how much? Minus 2.11. Correct? So breakaway point is minus 2.11. At this value, what is the value of K? 48.11. So when breakaway point, that is S is equal to minus 2.11, the K value is equal to 48.11. Correct? So next, what is the step number 6? We found out the intersection of root locus with the the imaginary axis. The root locus is going to intersect the imaginary axis at s is equal to plus or minus 7.07 I. At this point, what is the value of k? 750. Correct? So these are the data summary of this problem. So now using this results, we are going to plot the graph. So that graph is going to call as what? Root locus. Let's start drawing the graph. Okay. So now we are about to draw the root locus by using these values. Okay. So we are drawing the approximate root locus. It is not an exact root locus, just an approximation. Okay. So I am going to draw the pole zero plot. What is this? Pole zero plot. So x-axis is the real axis. So this is the imaginary axis. That is the y-axis. Okay. So by using approximate scale, I am going to mark it 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, plus 4, minus 5, minus 6, up to minus 10. Approximately I drawn. In the same way, I am going to mark the imaginary axis. So this is the plus I, that is plus 1, plus 2I, plus 3I, 4I, 5. In the same way, I am going to mark up to 7I. In the same way, I am going to mark it down. So this is the minus 7I, approximately I drawn. Is it clear? Yes, sir. I did the marking. Next, what is the first step? So we need to draw the pole and zeros. We need to mark the poles and zeros. We have how many poles? 3 poles are there. What are the roots of those poles? S is equal to 0. One pole you are going to mark like this. S is equal to minus 5. Another pole you are going to mark it. Next, S is equal to minus 10. Correct? So we have 3 poles. 0, minus 5 and minus 10. What is the next step? We need to draw the asymptotes. So before drawing the asymptotes, we need to mark the centroid. How much is the centroid? What is centroid? Tell me the centroid. Centroid. This itself is the centroid. Okay. Summation minus 5. So this is the centroid. From the centroid, I am going to draw the what? Asymptotes. Is it clear? So from the centroid, I am going to draw the asymptotes. So from centroid, approximately, I am going to draw the 60 degree up. So this is a theta 0. Correct? Next, theta 1. How much is theta 1? Theta 1, that is 180 degree. Next, theta 3. Next, theta 2, that is 300 degree. So we have 3 asymptotes. We are going to draw the asymptotes from the centroid. How much is centroid? Minus 5. Is it clear? So the next step, that is the breakaway point. How much is the breakaway point? Minus 2.11. See, between minus 1 and minus 3, right? 0 and minus 5. So from the prediction, we found out that there is a root locus between the 0 and minus 5. So what is the breakaway point? We have minus 2.1 somewhere here. So this is a breakaway point. How much? Minus 2.1. At this value, what is the value of k? K is equal to 48.1. Is it clear? Now first I am going to mark it. Okay, what are the different points are there? I am going to mark it. So after this, what we found out? We found out the intersection of root locus with the imaginary axis. It is going to intersect at 7 point plus 7.01. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So what is the value of k here? 750. And also it is going to intersect at minus 7.1 minus 7.0 I. So this is also k is equal to how much? 750. So now I have marked all the data which we have calculated from step number 1 to 7. Okay, now I need to draw the branches, right? So what is first sentence I told? Always the branches are going to start from the poles and it is going to end to the zeros. Now how many poles are there? There are 3 poles are there. Therefore how many branches are there? There are 3 branches are there. So what are the starting point of the branches? 0 and minus 5 and minus 10. When k is equal to 1, so it is going to start from here. So gradually we are going to increase the value of k. So it will increase and it will reach us towards the breakaway point from this point and this point. Okay. So when k is equal to 48.11, so it will arrive at the breakaway point. So from here it is going to break. So one of the branch is going to break and it will reach to the plus 7.5. Another branch which is going to reach at the minus 7.5. Okay. Thereafter it follows the what? Asymptote. Here also it will follow the asymptote. At this point, what is the value of k? 750. We are varying the value of k from 0 to plus infinity. When k value is equal to 48.11, it is at the breakaway point. So when we start increasing the value of k, so it will reach, when reaches to 750, it intersects the imaginary axis. After that it will continue. In the same way, there is another branch. It is going to start from here minus 10. Right? So we already predicted root locus is possible between minus 5 and 0. Correct? Step number 2. Root locus is possible between these 2 points. Is there any root locus between minus 10 and minus 5? So we already predicted no root locus is possible between minus 5 and minus 10. In the same time, when k is equal to 1, it starts from here and it will follow the asymptote. That is theta 1 is equal to 180. Is it clear? So this is how we are going to draw the root locus. So you need to remember one thing. So always the branches are going to start from the poles and it is going to end to the zero. Here how many branches are there? 3 branches are there and 3 poles are there. So it is here it is going to start from 0 and it is going to start from minus 5. So when the k value increases gradually, it approaches to breakaway point. When k is equal to 48.11, it is going to meet at the breakaway and it is going to break from there and it is going to intersect the imaginary axis at k is equal to 750. Thereafterwards, it is going to follow the asymptote number 1 and also the asymptote number 3. Another branch which is going to start from minus 10, it is going to follow the asymptote number 2. Okay, so this is how we are going to draw the root locus. Is it clear? Now we need to do the comment on the stability. So when will be the system will be stable? When will be the system will be stable? See from the values of k. So when k is equal to 0 to 750. When k, the value of k from 0 to 750, the root locus is lying to the left off of the S-plane. So this is the left off and this is the right off. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದೆಲ್ಲಿಗೂ root locus will be stable from 0 to 750. For the values of k between 0 and 750, the root locus is lying to the left off of the S-plane. So when the root locus in the left of the S-plane, then they are going to call it as stable. When the k value is equal to 750, it is marginally stable. That means it is on the imaginary axis. When k value increases more than 750, the root locus is coming towards the right off of the S-plane. So this is the unstable region. So this left off is a stable region, right off is the unstable region. So if the root locus is on the imaginary axis, then it is a marginally stable. Akadegu illa, ikadegu illa. It is a marginally. So this is what a comment on the stability. That is the step number 9. Okay. So this question, this type of question carries 20 marks. Okay. So the 14 to 12 marks will be given for the steps what you are going to write. 6 marks will be given for the writing the root locus. Another 2 marks will be given for the writing the comment. So this is about the solving the root locus. Is it clear? Stay on.
So if we have to find the number of decorations,